Alex here with part 82 of the My Docket series on child custody and visitation. As with my previous video, I'd like to take this opportunity to direct my viewers to part 0 if you haven't seen it yet. That's a video that contains the detailed disclaimers and the underlying purpose of the series. Two things that I will glaze over are, number one, I'm not in the middle of this right now, and that's because my ex-parental rights have been terminated. This case is closed, cannot be reopened. And number two, the nutshell version as to the purpose of the series is to give my viewers one big example of my year-long high-conflict child custody ordeal from beginning to end in chronological order. In part 81, we left off with my filing of an emergency motion, an ex parte motion, trying to get the court to prevent my ex from canceling an appointment, and we go now into the court's order denying. My mindset at the time was really bad. I knew exactly what she was going to do as soon as she got this order denying. And that was, she wasn't going to set the appointment for a long time. And she didn't. She basically took this order from the court as her permission to basically just not do it. And it took a while, at least 2 months before she actually set the surgery. And she set the surgery when I was at work. So it was just insult to injury there. It's what frustrates me is the non-responsiveness for 2 months. All of a sudden, she cares now that I've set an appointment, but she only cares to the extent that she wants to cancel it. So then she does cancel it, and then when I take action with the court and the court denies my motion, then she goes, okay, well, since I don't have to do anything, I won't. And I'm surprised she even bothered to do anything after 2 months. I think that there was probably a push from her attorney there, because there was something else that I ended up filing, and I wish I could remember more, but my recollection is that I file a motion to modify custody very soon, and somehow that comes into play with her attorney saying, you know what, you need to think about taking care of this problem. Even though the judge denied his motion, he could still look at you and say, you know, what the heck are you doing as a mother? You could end up losing custody of your child. This is something that does end up happening later on, but not, in 2012. It happens in 2014. Anyway, I think at this point we can just go ahead and take a look at what the judge has filed. Here we have the judge's order denying ex parte motion. His introductory paragraph, he asserts that he's reviewed my motion and he finds and orders as follows. The second paragraph is that it's another summary paragraph, that we share a common child and that pursuant to the court's order after hearing, we share joint legal and joint physical custody, that pursuant to the court's order after hearing, I have physical custody of him certain weeks, certain days of the week, and she has physical custody the remainder of the time. Next assertion is that the court is noting in his own order that he has required us to set a review hearing regarding our son's education for sometime in early May, or that we were given leave to, in writing, modify the agreement. To date, we have not set a review hearing. I don't know why he's mentioning that. Next assertion is that in his ex parte motion, he claims that, or I claim that in the period between November 2011 and January 2012, our son experienced flare-ups resulting in infections and discomfort, that we met on February 27, 2012 with a specialist. And next assertion is that I claim that my ex would schedule the surgery, but that as of March 23rd, I have not heard from her, claiming that on April 25th, our son told me he was suffering discomfort, and he's going over how my ex is stating that the appointment was unnecessary. And then he goes into, in response, I canceled the review appointment but scheduled a surgery, claims that my ex emailed me and indicated in her opposition, or indicated that she opposed the surgery being performed at St. Mary's. And then I'm arguing that my ex agrees that surgery is appropriate but claims that I'm willing to briefly delay it. Consistent with court rule 13 subsection 1, I have to serve my ex with a copy of the motion. Services required. So he's citing standard motion rules, but he's not, is he discussing? Okay, here we go. Next assertion, he discusses ex parte relief when immediate and irreparable injury is alleged. Ex parte orders can be granted pursuant to the local rules when the child's health and safety are in danger. I don't present the court with allegations that satisfy the standard. So he's saying that our son's suffering from a tonsil inflammation over the course of 2 months is not considered the child's health and safety. That's sad. Moving on, next assertion is that through email correspondence, my motion is hearsay. What? This isn't an evidentiary hearing. So he's citing the rules of evidence even though we're not in an evidentiary hearing or a trial. Why is he doing that? Okay, next assertion. Parties are reminded of their obligations as joint legal custodians. Okay, yeah, she's not going to care about that. Joint legal custodian situation, parents need to have equal decision-making power. Okay, that's not working in this case. These are the can statements that judges like this typically put together. He's not really applying the specific facts of our case to the law. He's just regurgitating these can statements. He probably has these saved in a document and he just copies and pastes them. Either party is entitled to obtain emergency medical treatment without approval. So what is he? I guess he's trying to say that I could just violate the court's order and just sit. No. What? Neither party may unilaterally schedule non-emergency surgery. So again, I don't feel like he's applying the specifics of our case. He's just pasting this stuff. In the event that parties are unable to agree in absence of an emergency, we can bring the legal custody dispute before the court. That's what I tried to do and he denied it. We can't really wait months and months, but whatever. So I wish he would have addressed it in more detail, but he really didn't do that. Honestly, it's kind of a nothing burger. It's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo that he pasted into an order. And he's stating these things that apply generally, but he's not applying these general rules to the specifics of our case. So penalty for violation of an order. Oh, this is standard boilerplate. It's included in all of the court orders entered by the family division, and this is just stating that you can't take your child and run off with them in violation of a court order, or it's a category D felony. And then he signs his order here. He mails the order to both myself and my ex. Okay, so what ends up happening is she doesn't schedule the appointment for months, and he ends up suffering. Our son suffers needlessly, but that's what happens. If I would have filed a slow motion, he would have ended up probably responding to it within about 3 months. And then that response would have probably not even been an order. He would have probably set a hearing. So that would have been 4 or 5 months. So this is unrealistic. An unrealistic approach to a situation with a child who I think at this point is not even 6 years old. I don't know what to say, guys. I think it speaks for itself. Going into the aftermath, I have filed no documents, so I incurred $0 in costs. My ex's attorney didn't file anything either, so she incurred $0 in costs. I didn't have an attorney, so I incurred $0 in attorney fees, and my ex's attorney probably spent 15 minutes max reviewing this order. I doubt she even discussed it with my ex. She probably just forwarded it to her and said, hey, you don't have to set the appointment. And so she didn't. So, well, I mean, she probably said you can set it when you want to or something like that, because she does set it. It just takes her a couple of months more. Anyway, that's going to be 15 minutes at a rate of $250 an hour. It's going to come to $62.50 in attorney fees for my ex. That's my previous videos. If you have any questions, feel free to post something down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.